In a world that celebrates noise, true power lies in silence. The loudest person in the room is often the weakest. Real success doesn't shout, it shows. And today, I'm here to remind you why you must win quietly. In today's world, it's easy to mistake volume for value. Social media has made it seem like if you're not showing your success, then you're not really succeeding. But that's a dangerous illusion. True winners don't feel the need to broadcast every move they make. They understand that real success doesn't require fireworks, applause, or validation. It only requires one thing: results. And those results are best delivered in silence. Not because you're hiding, but because you're focused. When you're truly on the path to something meaningful. When you're building something that matters. You don't have time to announce every little win. You're too busy doing the work. You're too deep in your craft, too locked into your vision, to pause for praise. The greatest victories are often the ones that happen away from the spotlight. The most legendary transformations are forged in private. Early mornings, late nights, silent grind. No one sees the sacrifice, the failures, the doubts, or the countless hours of repetition. And that's okay, because true winners don't do it for the claps. They do it because it's in them. They do it because they have something to prove, not to the world, but to themselves. And when the results come, they don't need to shout. Their work speaks for them. Their excellence becomes their announcement. There's power in being underestimated, in moving so quietly that no one sees you coming until it's too late. You catch the world off guard. You let others waste time showing off while you stay in your lane, building in silence. Then one day, when they least expect it, you arrive with results that are undeniable. Not because you boasted, but because you stayed patient. You stayed focused. You stayed silent. That silence becomes your strength. Because when you're quiet, you're not distracted. You're not seeking approval. You're not performing. You're building. And builders always beat talkers. You see, the ones who talk the most are often the furthest from real achievement. Loudness is often a mask for insecurity. But confidence, true confidence, is quiet. It's steady. It doesn't need to announce itself. It just moves, like a tiger in the grass, like a storm approaching, like a sunrise that lights the sky without making a sound. That's what it means to win in silence. You don't need to tell everyone what you're doing. You don't need to respond to doubt. You don't need to argue with those who question you. You just need to keep going, keep doing the work, keep showing up. Eventually, the same people who ignored you will ask how you did it. The same people who doubted you will act like they believed in you all along. And you won't need to say a word. Your transformation will speak for itself. Your life will be the proof. And that's the ultimate win. Not the applause, not the recognition, but the quiet knowing that you kept your head down, stayed true to your path, and built something no one can take from you. So remember this: if you're working on something important, something real, keep it quiet. Protect your vision. Nurture it in silence. Let your success unfold naturally, without noise, without pressure, without performance. True winners move in silence not because they have nothing to say, but because they know when it's time to speak. Their results will be so loud, they won't need to say anything at all. Let your life be the loudest thing about you. Not your words, not your posts, not your promises, just your life, quiet, focused, unstoppable. Have you ever noticed how the people who have the least to show are usually the loudest in the room? They speak in volume, not value. They brag about accomplishments they haven't earned. They flash possessions that don't belong to them. They name drop, exaggerate, overshare, hoping the noise will distract from the emptiness within. But here's the truth: loudness is often insecurity in disguise. It's a mask, a performance, a shield people use to cover what they don't want the world to see: their fear, their self-doubt, their lack of substance. Confidence doesn't need an audience. It doesn't beg for validation. It doesn't show off. Confidence walks into a room and doesn't need to say a word. It's felt. It's quiet because it's rooted. Rooted in real effort, real discipline, real results. People who are truly at peace with who they are don't need to convince anyone of their worth. They know. They've earned their strength through struggle. They've built their identity through work, not words. But insecurity screams. Insecurity performs. Insecurity says, look at me. Please notice me. Believe in me, because I'm not sure I believe in myself. It needs the likes, the applause, the approval. It lives for reactions because without them, it feels invisible. And that's why so many people have fallen into the trap of noise. They think being loud equals being strong. They think showing off equals success. But in reality, they're revealing their desperation. Real power doesn't need to be flashy. It doesn't need to speak in capital letters. It just is. Think of the most powerful forces in the world: time, gravity, growth. They make no noise, yet they shape everything. That's how real confidence moves. Silent but unstoppable, unbothered by opinions, unshaken by criticism, uninterested in applause. We live in a world addicted to appearance. People want to look successful more than they want to actually be successful. They care more about how their life appears online than how it actually feels offline. They'll go broke trying to look rich. They'll post pictures with rented cars, borrowed clothes, and fake smiles just to keep up an illusion. But illusions don't last. The truth always rises. And when it does, the noise fades, and all that's left is the reality you've built. That's why silence is strength. When you're confident in your direction, you don't need to advertise your every move. You don't need to broadcast your ambition or narrate your hustle. You simply do the work day by day, brick by brick, quietly, consistently, without distractions. Because you're not working to be seen, you're working to succeed. And when that success comes, it will speak for itself. The same people who questioned you will be the ones asking how you did it. The same ones who overlooked you will now want your guidance. And you won't need to shout. You'll just keep moving, grounded in who you are, not what others think. So the next time you're tempted to prove yourself through words, stop, let your actions speak instead. The next time you see someone making noise, trying too hard to impress, don't envy them. Have compassion. They're still searching for the security you're already building. Keep building, keep growing, keep evolving. Because the strongest people are often the quietest. The ones who don't need to be seen every day. The ones who are too busy creating, too focused on becoming, too disciplined to distract themselves with unnecessary noise. Let others chase the spotlight, you chase mastery. Let others talk, you build. Let others brag, you prepare. Because in the end, true confidence doesn't speak, it shows. Success is like a seed. It must be planted in quiet soil, nurtured in stillness, and protected from storms until it grows strong enough to stand on its own. When you achieve something significant, especially in the early stages, it's tempting to share it with the world. But premature exposure can kill potential. People may not understand your vision, and their doubts or envy can cast shadows on your confidence. Not everyone wants to see you rise. Some smile to your face but secretly hope you fail. That's why wisdom tells us, move in silence. Let your success mature in private before you present it to the public. There is power in privacy. When you keep your plans to yourself, you eliminate outside noise. No distractions, no unnecessary opinions, no judgmental stares. Just you, your goal, and the grind. Silence becomes your shield. It allows you to fail quietly, adjust quickly, and grow without interference. The world doesn't need to see your process. They only need to witness the results. And when that result is undeniable, it speaks louder than any announcement you could have made along the way. Sharing too soon can invite unnecessary pressure. The moment you tell people what you're building, expectations start forming, critics start watching. And the moment you stumble, as all growth journeys include, you feel their eyes, their thoughts, their assumptions. That pressure can crush even the strongest dreams. But when you move in silence, there's no audience to perform for, just pure unfiltered progress. Sometimes, it's not even about others, it's about protecting your energy. Talking too much about your goals can make you feel like you've already accomplished something. It's a psychological trap. Your brain gets the reward of excitement without doing the actual work. That false sense of achievement can slow you down, make you lazy, make you vulnerable to distraction. Real power is in doing, not declaring. In silence you gain clarity. You hear your intuition better. You connect with your purpose deeper. You're not comparing your journey to others, and you're not chasing approval. You're chasing growth, alignment, and real impact. When you protect your success in its early stages, you're allowing it to become unshakable. You're giving yourself room to fail, to pivot, to improve, without the weight of public judgment. And when the time is right, when the foundation is strong, the roots are deep, and the structure is unmovable, that's when you share. That's when you let the world see what you've built. Not to impress them, but to inspire. Because now, your success isn't just a moment, it's a movement. It has been forged in silence, tested in darkness, and revealed in power. So if you're building something beautiful, don't rush to post about it. Don't seek applause before the work is done. Protect it, nurture it, let it grow in peace. Let your actions scream so loud that words become unnecessary. Let your results speak in a voice that echoes longer than any announcement. Remember this: the strongest trees grow in the wild, away from constant attention. The brightest stars shine quietly until the night is dark enough. And the most powerful success stories, they're written in silence, revealed only when they're impossible to ignore. Your time will come. But until then, guard your growth, win in silence. Let success make the noise. In a world obsessed with attention and validation, choosing to celebrate privately and grind publicly is a powerful act of self-discipline and focus. Most people have it backward. They showcase their plans, broadcast their ambitions, and search for applause before the real work is even done. But the truth is, growth happens in silence, and greatness is built in the shadows. If you want to create something meaningful, it starts by keeping your eyes on the work, not on the audience. Celebrating privately doesn't mean you don't appreciate your wins. It means you're grounded enough to know that applause isn't the goal, progress is. You understand that the journey is more important than the praise. Every milestone, every victory, no matter how small, is for you to honor internally. It's a moment between you and your grind. The world doesn't need to know every time you level up. Why? Because your work will eventually reveal everything. When you grind publicly, your focus is on execution. You're not trying to convince people you're doing something great. You're showing them through results. That's the difference between performers and producers. Performers seek the spotlight, producers stay behind the scenes, working, crafting, refining until what they've created is undeniable. By choosing to grind in public, you're inviting the world to witness the discipline, not the decoration. This mindset protects your energy. When you're not constantly seeking praise, you're not dependent on it. You're not swayed by who claps or who doesn't. You become immune to the noise. Whether people support you or not, your mission stays the same. That's the type of focus that moves mountains. That's the level of mindset that separates winners from dreamers. Also, when you celebrate privately, you avoid the traps of ego and complacency. Nothing kills momentum faster than premature celebration. The moment you start feeling like you've made it, you stop pushing. You slow down. You let your guard down. But when your victories are personal, just between you and your purpose, you stay hungry. You acknowledge the progress, but you're not satisfied. You're still climbing. You're still learning. You're still evolving. Grinding publicly is about showing up consistently. It's about letting your actions speak louder than your posts. It's about being so focused on your craft that people can't help but notice. They see the change. They feel the difference. You don't have to announce anything. They'll ask what you've been doing, because your life starts to reflect the work you've put in. That's authentic influence. That's real success. This approach also builds respect. When people see someone grinding every day, staying consistent, humble and focused, they begin to admire not just the results, but the character behind the results. That admiration runs deeper than momentary applause. It builds legacy, because you didn't just chase attention, you chased excellence. In time, your results will make the noise you never had to make. And the celebrations you kept to yourself, they'll feel even sweeter because you earned them quietly, with discipline, with integrity. You look back and realize the silence wasn't empty, it was full of purpose. So choose to celebrate in silence. Let the joy be yours. Let the growth be sacred, and then get back to the grind. Because the world doesn't need to see the cake being baked. They just need to taste how good it is when it's done. Keep building. Keep working. Let the results reveal the story. Silence builds power and focus in ways most people will never understand. In a world constantly screaming for attention, the ones who remain quiet are often the ones doing the most. The less you speak, the more you build. The more you grind, the less you seek validation. Silence isn't weakness. It's strategy. It's protection. It's focus turned inward, where true growth happens. When you choose silence, you begin to hear your own thoughts more clearly. You're no longer distracted by the noise of opinions, comparisons, or judgment. You're not performing for the crowd. You're building for yourself. Silence becomes your shield, guarding your mind from the chaos and allowing you to operate with clarity. You don't need to announce your plans when you're too busy executing them. You don't need approval when your results are your response. Power comes from withholding, from not reacting, from staying grounded when others are triggered. Silence gives you the ability to observe, to analyze, to learn. And in that learning, you develop a strength that isn't loud, but unshakable. You start moving with purpose, not emotion. You become less about talking and more about transforming. The world teaches you to speak up, to explain, to prove yourself, but mastery is built in the quiet moments of self-control and inner discipline. Focus thrives in silence. Distractions dissolve when you detach from the need to constantly express yourself. You stop wasting time explaining your journey to people who will never understand it. You stop looking for shortcuts in conversations and start putting in the hours where it counts. Alone, in the shadows, in the work. That's where real momentum is built. That's where legends are born. The less you speak about your grind, the more powerful your actions become. Every day that you stay quiet and consistent, you're stacking discipline. You're building a version of yourself that doesn't rely on applause to stay committed. Because true focus isn't driven by hype. It's driven by vision. And vision doesn't need an audience. Vision needs execution. When you move in silence, you're protecting your energy. You're not leaking it by trying to prove anything to anyone. You're not opening the door for doubt, jealousy, or sabotage. You keep your plans sacred. You nurture them privately. You give them the space to grow without the pressure of external expectations. And when your work finally speaks, it's undeniable. It's real. It's earned. Validation loses its power over you the moment you embrace silence. You stop chasing approval. You stop wondering what they think. You start realizing that the only person you need to impress is the one staring back at you in the mirror. You find peace in being misunderstood. You find strength in staying low while building high. That's the kind of mindset that makes you unstoppable. Silence isn't just about not speaking. It's about not needing to speak. It's about letting your life speak for you. It's about letting your habits echo louder than your words ever could. The people who move in silence aren't hiding. They're refining. They're evolving. They're turning pain into purpose and vision into legacy, one quiet moment at a time. So if you're in a season of silence, stay there. Honor it, protect it, use it. Because in that silence, you're becoming. You're laying the foundation for something solid, something real. And when the time comes, you won't need to shout. The world will see what you built. And they'll understand that silence wasn't the absence of movement. It was the presence of power. Keep building. Keep grinding. Let the silence sharpen your focus. Let it make you fierce. Disappear into mastery, not into noise. In a world obsessed with showing off every step of the journey, real winners move differently. They don't broadcast every accomplishment. They don't scream for attention or applause. They win in silence, they win completely, and then they vanish into the next evolution of themselves. Because mastery isn't about being seen, it's about becoming undeniable. True success doesn't crave validation. It doesn't perform for the world. It doesn't need the spotlight to shine. When you're focused on mastery, you're too deep in the process to worry about perception. You care more about growth than glory. You build in silence and let your results make the noise. That's what separates those who talk about greatness from those who live it. The loudest people are rarely the most dangerous. The real threat is the person who disappears into the grind, who stops explaining, who cuts off distractions, and locks into their craft. They don't argue, they don't explain, and they don't chase trends. They're too busy mastering their purpose. While the world is distracted by noise, they're stacking wins that no one sees coming. Until it's too late, you have to be willing to walk away from the noise, from the constant need to be seen, liked, and approved of. If you want to master anything, your discipline, your mindset, your calling, you have to be okay with being invisible for a while. You have to be willing to outgrow rooms, to fall off the radar, to focus so hard that the world forgets your name, until you return with something so powerful they can't ignore you. That's the difference between average and exceptional. Average needs recognition to keep going. Exceptional keeps going without it. Mastery is quiet, it's boring, it's lonely, but it's where the magic happens. It's where you refine your skills, correct your flaws, and outwork everyone who's too busy talking. You become unshakable, not because people see you, but because you see yourself more clearly in the silence. Win big, win without noise. Let your excellence speak volumes. Let your progress announce itself. Let your transformation do the talking. Because when you truly win, there's nothing left to prove. The victory is in who you became, not in who noticed. And when you've reached that level, you don't stay stuck in the spotlight. You vanish into the next version of yourself. You level up again and again, without warning. There's power in becoming unreachable. Not because you're running, but because you've risen. You've outgrown the phase that needs attention. You've stepped into a new season that requires elevation, not explanation. You're not hiding. You're evolving. You're not disappearing, you're refining. Mastery is a cycle of constant rebirth, and every time you complete a level you disappear, not to retreat but to rise again. Stop chasing noise. Stop chasing visibility. Build something so powerful it can't be denied. Then walk away and build again. Let your silence be your confidence. Let your absence be your dominance. Those who really move the world rarely talk about it. They just show up, shift the atmosphere, and leave behind a legacy that speaks for itself. Disappearing into mastery is not giving up. It's growing up. It's choosing long-term impact over short-term applause. It's choosing depth over attention. So lock in, disappear, elevate, re-emerge stronger. Let your life be a series of silent victories that build a legacy louder than any noise ever could. Disappear into mastery, not into noise, because true greatness doesn't scream, it echoes. The real transformation happens in silence, in the moments no one sees, in the work no one claps for. If you truly want to evolve, stop chasing attention and start chasing mastery. Let your growth be private. Let your wins be sacred. Let your next level be so powerful it doesn't need an announcement. Elevate in silence, win in peace, and let your legacy do all the talking.